We're taught from a young age that to love is to become one, to find your other half, to share a heart, the same pulse. But what if holding her hand is what makes you weak?
Ah!
No. You have to go.
You're gonna pay for this! So fucked up!
No.
Pain in the ass, little shit!
A young salvager and the Aegis begin their journey as archetypes of strength. Rex exudes the optimism of a young boy, while Pyra wields world-shattering power behind a kind smile. Yet, they feel unbearably weak. Beneath Rex's optimism lies a fragile boy haunted by the loss of his parents, not being able to stop Jin's blade.
I don't get it. I'm meant to be a driver now. I have a blade of my own. But I couldn't do anything. Fun. Nothing's changed. I'm just as weak as I've always been!
Beneath Pyra's power lies a soul crippled by guilt, carrying the weight of responsibilities she cannot fully control, the guilt of power she cannot reconcile. In the world of all rest, identity is often mistaken for a fixed attribute, a weapon to be wielded or a burden to be carried.
Maybe it's not good for me to be by Rex's side after all.
Why?
With me here, he'll suffer even more, lose even more. So maybe Rex is better off without me. Rex, and the whole world. They don't need me. That's just how it feels.
How's your injuries? You're really strong. Please, I'm begging you. She's right there.
So beautiful.
I guess that's probably because you made it, Pyra.
The philosopher Friedrich Hegel's mutual recognition. By seeing their reflections in the other, Rex and Pyra confront who they really are. Their desires to protect, to act, to shoulder the world are not expressions of strength. There are deeply human vulnerabilities. Milton dies. Van Damme dies. Why? Their deaths are brutal reminders that power is never enough, that the desire to protect can destroy as much as it preserves. And yet it is this acknowledgement of weakness towards each other that opens the door to freedom, to intimacy. From intimacy, forgiveness arises. What Rex said to Malos, that's why he says it. Forgiveness isn't easy, but that's the world we live in, and you used to think like that once. Mutual recognition is what makes forgiveness possible. That's how you forgive yourself, how you forgive Amalthus and Jin, how you forgive a world that never asked for forgiveness but still desperately wants you to do it. Ironically, it was never the sharing of life or the journey to Elysium that connected them. Rex and Pyra were each other's mirror. As Noah said in that prison, even if I could reach people, I wouldn't be able to save them.
Do you think an off-seer can ever reach others? You know, I thought our lives were like our music. Always in our hands, under our control. I wasn't facing the truth. Even if I could reach people, I wouldn't be able to save them. I should have known that. It's unbearable, seeing life slip away from you, even though they're right there. What am I even doing?
It's dark out, huh? No moon, but the starlight is so nice and warm.
The idea of recognition is such a thing that it doesn't stop at Rex and Pyra. It's embedded in the very fabric of the story. But for this recognition to extend outwards to the world, it must first survive the internal friction of the one offering it. Before Pyra and Mythra can act as a mirror for others, they must first resolve the fracture within their own shared existence. To diagnose this fracture, we often reach for the most intuitive map of the human soul we have. At first glance, Pyra and Mythra seem perfectly explained through the lens of Sigmund Freud. Mythra as the id, impulsive, emotional, and destructive. Pyra as the superego, restrained, moral, and self-sacrificing. And Pneuma as the ego, the synthesis, the balanced whole. This works, it's clean, it's intuitive. It even aligns with Xenogears. How can a stronger interpretation be even possible? That's a great question. But if that's Xenoblade 2, then why isn't it being demonstrated by Tetsuya Takahashi-san? Why aren't we seeing the emerald-haired girl Pneuma representing the ego, but Pyra and Mythra as two distinct bodies? Sigmund Freud's model is fundamentally internal. Identity is a structure within a single mind. Conflict is something to be balanced and unified. The goal is psychological harmony. But Pyra and Mythra's problem is not internal imbalance, it is misrecognition. They cannot see each other, they cannot confront each other, they cannot truly know each other. They're trapped in the same body. Their relationship is reduced to suppression, substitution, avoidance. This is not harmony. This is not harmony. It is trauma. Sigmund Freud can describe their division, sure, but he cannot resolve it. Then what do? Like an eye that cannot see its own iris. If they lack the distance required for self-recognition, then we need to create that distance. Enter Friedrich Hegel, the philosopher who offers something Freud cannot. The Master-Slave Dialectic. From Vandam's death onwards, what were Pyra and Mythra doing? Alternating as it suits them, one of them is asleep and the other is awake? How convenient. I want you to imagine that power struggle in your mind. You wake up in the morning, but you don't know what to do. Will you accept that party invitation or go home to write your manuscript due tomorrow? Those are two distinct voices, struggling for recognition, struggling to assert identity. They're technically one, but not self-conscious. They exist in a state of abstract unity, what Hegel refers to as the immediate. They're incomplete because they lack the ability to look at one another, unable to see each other. When Mythra sleeps, Pyra is forced to shoulder that burden, appeasing conflict. When Pyra sleeps, Mythra tries to blunt her sharp edges. Mythra is the master, the original consciousness, dominant and authoritative, while Pyra is the servant, the repressed identity born from a desire to hide and serve. According to Hegel, this is a misrecognition, that power struggle for who gets to be in the world, Pyra or Mythra, the thesis or the antithesis. That question is so tiring. Takahashi-san is saying how wholeness isn't found by absorbing the other, but by standing beside them, holding each other's hand. If Pyra and Mythra become two bodies, they can know each other by seeing their irises, no longer the confused hybrid longing for negation. No longer this alter ego to hide the pain. The master should never have been ordering, and the slave should never have been serving. They were trapped in a silent internal loop, never could achieve self-definition, because a self does not exist in isolation. Your self only becomes so when reflected by an other. And for a long time that was Rex. That was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They were using him to not look at their faces. But not anymore. As they gave Rex the core crystal, severing their bond once and for all, they were all alone. For the first time. This 15-year-old kid who always smiled and tried to find the good in people wasn't there anymore. The sacrifice of the Aegis and the subsequent awakening. Pyra and Mythra needed to let go of that mirror they relied on to see each other. They were going to find themselves by shattering the mirror. In the Rex analysis before, we talked about how this was a conscious rejection of death, how the Aegis wanted to live for the first time, like a moth drawn to a flame to take the good with the bad. But staying as Pneuma, a single body, would be a regression to the abstract unity. Two bodies allow them to preserve their shared history, their individual memories with Rex, while overcoming the physical constraints of sharing a vessel, establishing mutual recognition as equal authority. Sigmund Freud would resolve Pyra and Mythra into Pneuma, dismissing individual agency, while Friedrich Hegel demands that they become two. They can love other people as fully integrated, healthy consciousnesses, no longer in fear of being seen. Mythra's arrogance is gone. Pyra's self-hatred is gone. They don't need their shields anymore. They never did. I suppose Malos too bears the weight of misrecognition, and he remains trapped in the role of the Endbringer. Unlike Pyra and Mythra, he never escapes it. How could he? Not having a mirror to see his own face. Even when he did, he rejected it. A Malthus. A reflection of the same despair, the same disgust toward the world, but to recognize that would mean confronting something unbearable. That his hatred was not the truth. It was just his pain. Despite that pain, he tried to do the right thing, tried to lend him a hand back in that alleyway. But Malos missed how Jin doesn't want to be saved. He only shares his suffering, not his origin. Jin wanted to connect with someone. Anyone, to hold someone's hand again. You just happen to be there. Malos remains alone, trapped not by fate, but by his refusal to be seen. At the end, when Rex finally sees him, something changes. For the first time in his life, Malos is not being judged, used, or feared. He's being recognized, not as a hideous monster, not as the Endbringer, but as Logos, as someone who could have been so much more. And that realization was enough. A meaning to his life. People live their entire lives without finding theirs. Morag was right. The divine words of the architect, the Aegis, Pneuma and Logos, creation and destruction. Isn't it ironic how they were the same, desiring for an ending while not knowing why? He couldn't escape death, but she did. Pneuma was a sacrifice that made Pyra and Mythra live. You saved her, Rex.